What's up, guys? It is Chris back for Watch Chris. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell icon, and of course, liking this video if you find it useful or helpful. So today we're taking a look at a very small micro brand called Aerotech. I've actually featured a few of their watches here on my channel. This is their latest dive watch. It's called the Wave Diver, and it gets a stone dial. Stone dials right now, very popular in the watch industry. I'm not sure why, but they are having a moment. And this one is made out of amethyst. So this is the first time I've seen an amethyst dial. It's really made out of a crystal, not a stone. Maybe that's the same thing. However, it's a beautiful purple dial. It's a dual crown 300-meter dive watch. And I have one here hands-on to show you guys. So let's take a look at the latest release from Aerotech, their stone dial Wave Diver. This is called the Wave Diver. It's from Aerotech. It gets a purple dial, and that is made out of amethyst. So this is a stone dial dive watch, which you don't see very often. It's also really nicely sized. It's kind of thin for having 300 meters of water resistance. It's a dual crown setup. It looks like a super compressor. It's not a super compressor. However, it looks like one. So I would say it's a super compressor style. You have two crowns. The crown at the 2 o'clock operates the inner rotating bezel. The crown at the 4 o'clock operates the time. You have a little ring. It's orange, and that alerts you that the crown is unscrewed. So you have to have those crowns screwed in to get the 300 meters of water resistance. You're getting a sapphire crystal in the front and a sapphire crystal on the back. The sapphire crystal in the back allows you to see the Miyota 9039, which is the dateless version of the Miyota 9000 series. It is undecorated. However, they have decorated the sapphire crystal with some waves. So there's a wave pattern in a silver color, which looks good. And then they've done that again. They've put that wave pattern on the sides of the watch. So there's engravings on the side of the watch, and those are waves on both sides, even the crown side. You know, some people may not like that. Some people will. I don't think it looks terrible, and you really can't see it, especially when you're wearing it. You definitely can see it. Even when you have it off your wrist, it's not very, very apparent that there's a wave pattern on the side, especially the crown side, so it's not in your face. That amethyst dial gets applied indices, applied logo. Those are all filled with Loom, so they usually do a very good job with Loom over at Aerotech. Down at the 6 o'clock, it just gives you the water resistance. It's normally where it would say, you know, Swiss made, so it's split up by that 6 o'clock index. It just says 30 ATM or 1,000 feet. Really nicely done, very clean dial, especially for a dual crown setup. Usually those dials get a little bit cluttered. I like that they didn't put any wording on the dial whatsoever, except for the water resistance way down at the bottom of the dial in very small text. The inner rotating bezel is very smooth, and like I said, when you pop the crown at the 2 o'clock position, unscrew that, and when you pop it out, you have that little orange tab again, or that little ring of orange to let you know that the crown is unscrewed. Immediately, the inner rotating bezel will start working. It's a 120 click bezel. It's very smooth. You could feel very faint clicks when you're using it, and obviously it's very secure and everything lines up. So you just line it up, pop that crown back in and screw it back in, and you have 300 meters of water resistance. This is a 39 millimeter watch. I measured 38.9 millimeters, so just under 39 millimeters. It's a 13 millimeter thick watch as well. I measured 12.9 millimeters with my calipers. That's including the boxed sapphire crystal on the front, and you're getting a sapphire crystal on the back. This is an automatic movement, so 13 millimeters thick. That's very, very good for a watch with 300 meters of water resistance. The lug to lug is 46 millimeters, so a very tight lug to lug. You do have female end links, so obviously it will wear the same as it does on a bracelet on a strap. And you do get drilled lugs, quick release for the bracelet, and of course, solid end links. You also get on-the-fly micro adjust, which I think might be a first for Aerotech. I don't remember, but you're getting a really nice tab system, and I'll throw up a picture of that so you can see what I'm talking about for the Aerotech system that they're using. It's really nice. I've seen it on other watches. You're getting about a link, or maybe even a little bit more than that, of adjustability. So that's about 5 millimeters, somewhere in that range. It's signed Aerotech, and you have a really nice line of polish along the edge. I really like these clasps. They feel a lot more premium than they actually are. And I like that watches or watch brands are starting to use them more and more often, especially under $400, which is pretty incredible. The case back itself, like I said, you have that wave pattern. You can see the wave pattern on the side of the watch as well. And the case back is meant to look like a porthole, I would say. So that's the motif that they are going with here. Obviously, nautical inspired, wave inspired. I think it looks really good. The bezel is brushed, and then you have a really nice fine line of polish that goes all the way around, primarily brushed otherwise. So there's a lot of brushing going on the bracelet, and on the case, everything is finished really nice. You have very big, grippy crowns. The crown at the 4 o'clock is signed with the Aerotech logo. The crown at the 2 o'clock position is not signed, but it has a little pattern on it that you see on a lot of vintage watches that have dual crown setups. So that's what they went with. I think it looks really good. The dial, I do want to mention the indices are kind of interesting. They're very organic looking. And then the 9, 3, and 6, they're sort of pitched towards the center of the dial. So they're very custom, very odd looking indices, very organic looking at the same time. I like it. It's kind of Aerotech's style. They do these really weird things with the hands and the indices. The handset on this watch is somewhat custom. The hour hand is an arrow. It has that Aerotech logo in it, and that is all loomed. And then you have a second hand with a counterbalance. I believe that counterbalance is loomed. And then you have a dagger for the minutes hand that is loomed as well. I believe they usually put a lot of loom on their dial. I would imagine that the chapter ring, or the inner rotating bezel, I should call it, is also loomed, but we will do a loom shot towards the end. You're getting screwed links. Lots of specs are going into this watch for the price. Now, if you like this dial, they're going for $399 on their Kickstarter. If you don't like this dial, they're making just a plain black dial with a texture. That's $379. I would actually go for the stone dials for just a couple of dollars more. You're getting something very, very unique from a brand that makes very high quality watches. They make really good micro brand dive watches, and this is something that you don't see every day with an amethyst dial. I don't think I've seen many watches with an amethyst dial. I think it looks really good, and if you like a purple dial, this is a really good looking purple dial. Speaking of stone dial watches are usually pretty expensive. This watch is around $1,500. This is from Baltic. It is a really cool watch. It has a hand wound movement, but they are expensive. That's the reason why I wore this. This is a jade dial. This is a watch that recently came out from Baltic. It's called the Prismic Stone Dial. It's a limited edition. Just a cool watch. And there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. Like I was saying, this is a 39 millimeter watch with a 46 millimeter lug to lug, or just about there. And then of course, a 13 millimeter thickness. I actually measured under 13 millimeters, 300 meters of water resistance, automatic Miyota 9039, which is a thin movement, but you are getting a sapphire crystal on the front, which is boxed. That's including that sapphire crystal. And then of course, the screwed in case back with the sapphire crystal. So the thickness is actually very, very good on this watch. Really nice bracelets, an I-link or an H-link bracelet, whatever you want to call it. Well, there you go. Very nice loom on here. Very liberally applied to the hands, the indices, not as liberally applied to the inner rotating bezel, but there is a good amount there. And then of course, there is a little bit of loom on the crown, which I wasn't aware. So just the crown at the 2 o'clock position, for some reason, they added loom there as well. The counterbalance on the second hand is loomed. So you could see that this watch is working in the dark. I like to see that. I featured Aerotech here on my channel in the past. They make pretty high quality watches for a very good price. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for checking out this video. I will put a link to Aerotech's Kickstarter down in the description. If you're interested, definitely check out their Kickstarter. It is currently live and funded, so definitely check it out. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for checking out this video. I will catch you in the next video.